I started actually in beauty pageants because my parents were like, well, literally, like you give her a camera or a mirror and she's like reciting stuff. So, and then one of my biggest accomplishments, I would say, is getting on Broadway, The Lion King on Broadway as young Nala at 9. And what an experience that was. And that's something that literally shaped my life. I always say, as an actor, I said, if you want to learn how to act, go to theater. All my success I owe to that. And because you learn so many skills in the sense of like, you don't have a second shot, so you better
Right.
figure it out. Both my parents are not in the industry. No one, I mean, like this came out of nowhere.
Right.
Nobody in my family, like nothing. And even to the sense, I grew up in Westchester, New York, which was about an hour away from the city. So my
Right.
parents would be like, oh God, we have to drive her to the city. I learned so much, but there's always a double-sided coin when it comes to
Right.
that, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I think growing up in it, there was a moment where I kind of got burnt out and was like, is this for me? I was an adolescent. I was developing. I was also a Latin,
Right.
actress, which they're a lot more forgiving now compared to back
Right.
then, with the comments and lose weight, gain weight, whatever, look a
Right. Right.
certain
Right. Right.
ethnicity to the point where I actually pulled myself out of the industry because I needed to make my own box, right?
Yeah.
I finished high school early. I went off to college, got my psychology degree. After having my son, when I had my child in 2016, I just remember looking at him and saying, how am I going to tell him to go after your dreams? And I'm
Hmm.
allowing others to like not let me go after mine because it
Right.
wasn't the art. It was never the art.
I have to kick off with JLo, who we all love and adore. An idol that you also talk about with such love and joy. So tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, it was like a pinch me moment. I was like, I'm not here in this world right now.
Right. Right.
I
Right.
couldn't believe that she was standing in the same room as me. And like her being one of my icons, I take a lot of that from me seeing her. A lot. I mean, I think the first thing where I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna act just like her was me seeing in her and Selena. And then when I got to know her more, I mean, I think I was Jennifer Lopez for like 3 years for Halloween.
Ah, so cute.
Like
What
it
a
was
great
a big,
story.
huge inspiration for me. Like,
Right. Right.
she came from New York. She's Puerto Rican. She's,
Right.
curvier. Like it was everything. So when I saw her, and I remember the first day I was on set, my scene was only with her. I had to go help her out of a situation. I was so nervous.
Yes. Oh my God.
And I remember I had to grab her and I was like, oh my God. So I'm grabbing her really nicely. And she's like, in between cuts, she like looks at me and she goes, grab me. And I was like, okay. She does a really good job of balancing um I'm the boss, but I'm also like an artist at the same time and she was respectful, got things done, but also was like able to sit there with the actors and be like, what do you guys think? This is a collaborative, thing. And she let us improv. And this was all like a community, everybody
Right.
with everything. We were open to ideas and we were moving stuff around. And I mean, a lot of the things I said, it came off the top of my head,
Right.
and she was very open to that. And it was just so inspiring to watch. If, when I was going to say, if, when I am able to do something like she did. I mean, because this was funded all by her, all
Right.
everything from top to bottom. She did everything. I said, I can't wait one day and to give the opportunity to somebody else and be in and move that way.
How do you feel about the fact that where you were at 5 and now your son, who's also very young, is kind of it being exposed to this space of entertainment? And I know many times we hear actors say all the time, I just don't want my kids to go into acting or not yet.
On just following his lead. And anytime I was, auditioning or what, he's like jumping in front of the camera and like, action and da da da. Mom, don't do it like that and don't do it like this. And this is how you need to act. And I'm telling you, you see a camera, this kid is in front of it. In my eyes, this is like him trying out soccer or him
Right.
trying out
Right.
basketball. He has he wants it and I want him to try it out. And I just always stick to keeping it fun for him. His team knows Benson's the boss. So every couple months, I'm like, Yeah, the boss said he quit for a while. Every maybe 2, 3 months down the line, he goes, "Mom, how come I haven't gotten the auditions?" I'm like, "Well, you quit." And he's like, "Oh
Right,
yeah, can you call them?" And I think for me, that's what's working, in my opinion. I think every kid's different. I think every, roles or whatever, but with him, I'm just following his lead and, getting some money for his college fund. So I had my son in 2016 and I only did classes getting back into it because I was starting from scratch again. And I
right,
had this piece of paper, 2019, I wrote, I want to be on This Is Us. The position that, I am in my career, or even back then, I was auditioning. So whatever would
right,
come would come. So it was a fate
right,
thing that that audition came up. But I think I also was preparing myself. The show right before that's when I was on Bosch. And the director, Zetna Fuentes, she's amazing, Puerto Rican director, obsessed with her. She was my first episode on Bosch, and I went up to her and gave her a big hug because I was so excited to be on
right.
being like a Puerto Rican director, and she's doing it, and she was so lovely with me, and she was directing that episode.
Wow.
So in my audition tape, I was like, I know this is cheeky, but I'm gonna do it. I said, "Hey Zedna, hey girl." So I got the part right. And so I'm assuming, like, okay, she probably said, "Hey, yes, I do know her, blah, blah, blah." So I get on set, she goes, "You're cheeky, number one. And number two,
Good for
I did
you.
not tell them that I knew you. You got this on your own." Especially being a Latina actress, I want to stay out. I don't want to be put in any box. I want
Right,
to do as most versatile, different, scariest roles that I can do because
right,
I want to keep expanding and opening that door and challenging myself. So I tell people all the time, I'm like, I want to be in a period piece. I want to be in an action movie. I want to, you know, anything that I can get my hands on, I'm open
right,
to, and
right.
learning and taking on the role. A lot of people get put in this box and they only can play the cop, the nurse. They play a lot
Yeah,
of lawyer roles. I'm like, no.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
do it all. If the desires of acting and that's what makes you really happy is in your heart, then it's the right thing to do and it will work out if it's there. I don't know how, and the journey looks different for all, but as long as you don't give up, it will happen as long as you have that desire in your heart and doing everything in your power to just keep opening that door and planting seeds and they don't bloom right away. Oh, I
right,
have to learn that a lot. I,
right,
there's
right,
a lot
right,
of seeds. I'm always planting seeds and I'm like, sometimes I'm staring too hard, waiting for them to blossom.
right,
And
right,
I have to get reminders like, forget about it, and that will happen. So I think that's the biggest thing I would say. If it's in your heart and that's what makes you happy, go. And that is your sign, or that is, the belief, that is what you're supposed to do. I will tell you one more thing. My dad always says something to me, and it's so funny when I have my down days. He says, acting is like the DMV, okay? You take a number and you get in line. But if you get out of that line, they're not going to call your name. And I'm like, that is
right,
so true.
right,
He's like,
right.
just when I have like my moments, I didn't get that part. I really wanted that part. He goes, don't get out of that line. Hey guys, it's your girl Danielle Larracuente. You guys have to check out New York News. I am featured on it. I'm so excited. And of course, I'm from New York. Hello. So this is definitely a dream for me. I can't wait.